This is Amud Yomi Gemara in Shabbos. Daf Mem Nun. Mem Hey Amud Beis. We pick it up on the very bottom of Mem Hey Amud Aleph. Says the Gemara as we continue learning the halachas of Muksa, Rav Shimon, Rav Yehuda. Whether there's this concept of Dachia B'Yadayim, pushing it away, making an item, even an item that was fit, not fit, etc. So by minei Rav Shimon bei Rebbe mei Rebbe. Says the Gemara, Rav Shimon bar Rebbe asked from Rebbe, as we turn over to Pehei Amid Beis, Pas ilei tamar Rav Shimon mahu. What about unripe dates according to Rav Shimon? And we're asking based on the fact that we just said that according to Rav Shimon, once something has a usage, when Shabbos begins, even if subsequently it was set aside and at some level created at some level to be muksa, we don't say it's muksa. So now says the Gemara, what about if the dates were not ripe? Amarle, Rabbi responded, Ain muksa Rav Shimon? No, there's no muksa. Ella grugers and simukim bilvad, as we saw, except for the figs and the raisins, that you set them out before Shabbos to dry. That's the only case. But the fact that they're not ripe, it's not going to cause them to be muksa. Says the Gemara of Rabbi Leslie muksa. I don't understand. Meaning, from this whole question, Rav Shimon bar Rebbe asked the Rebbe, it sounds like Rebbe subscribes to Rav Shimon. So ask the Gemara, is that true? Now we learned in a Mishka in Mashkin midbarais. Now a little water and shecht midbarais, which are animals that roam in the field. Avamashkin shechten is abaisos, domesticated animals. Vitanya and the Brisa explained what does this mean? 5 lines down. Eloheina midbarais. Kol sheyaitz bepesach v'nechlasin b'ravia. They go on Pesach and they come back during the first rain. Baisos, what is domesticated animals? Rebbe Yomer. That's the Tanakam. Comes along Rebbe, 10 lines down. First word on line is Elu ve'elu, says Rebbe Baisois. Say no. Both of those cases are baisois, are domesticated animals. Ve'eluhein midbariyos. So what is midbariyos? Kol sharois ba'afar. They graze in the pasture. They didn't come into the city. So now, since Rebbe says what is these midbariyos, he seemingly goes with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, who holds that midbariyos make a difference, that they're going to be muksa, and not like the opinion of Rav Shimon that holds that none of them are going to be muksa. So explains the Gemara, either we could say that what's our case? Our case is we're trying to equate the case of the animals to what we know about, which is either the grogros v'tzimukin, or which is the psilei tamara, the unripe dates. So says the Gemara, either we could say that the migbariyos, these animals that roam, they're like grogros v'tzimukin. They're like dried figs. They're like raisins, meaning since they don't come back home, therefore they're like these dried figs and raisins that were put out before Shabbos, that even before Shabbos began, they were created in a status of muksa. And that's the one case that Rav Shimon is maskim, that there is muksa. Another way to learn is the dvar of the Rav Shimon Kamarle. Could be that Rav Shimon bar Rebbe is just talking back to Rav Shimon, as we find always, meaning it's true that he himself doesn't hold this, but he's saying according to Rav Shimon, and he does not hold of such. Teretz number 2. Teretz number 3. The Dveim the Rabbanan Kamarlu could be used talking to the Rabbanan, the Tanakama. Lididi could be the Rebbe holds last name Muksa Klau. But in that brisa midbariyos, in that brisa of baisos, what Rebbe is explaining, according to you, the Rabbanan, who yes hold of muksa in all these cases, ideally me, as you should admit to me, and the Rabbanan responds, the Rabbanan amrulei loy midbariyos let ninu. They are midbariyos. So says the Gemara, that's going to be the difference of cases. So again, we have Rav Shimon, we have Rav Yehuda. Rav Shimon does not hold a muksa in the broad sense. Rav Yehuda does. Even in the broad sense that Rav Shimon does not hold a muksa, but he does hold a muksa in what? If before Shabbos it was set aside, that's the case of Grayus V'Simukim. We then had the Braisa of Midbariyais, the Braisa of Baisais, which is a Braisa in which we are trying to figure out that animals that never come back home, we saw they are muksa. So the kasha was that it sounds like Rebbe is not going with Rav Shimon. So we have one of three ways to answer up the Braisa. The first way is going to be, I guess we're just going to make a relationship between the two. And we're going to say that these type of animals, what was meant in the Braisa is, they're like the raisins, meaning they're never coming back home. It's like Grugis Vitzimukim that were set aside before Shabbos, and even Rav Shimon is maskim, is yes muksa. Or we're going to say Rav Shimon was not talking in his own opinion, he was talking according to Rav Shimon. Or we're going to say in that Braisa, Baisas and Midbariyais, that Rabbanan, Rebbe was responding back to the Tanakama, but it wasn't actually his opinion. Says the Gemara, Omar Rabba Bar Chana, Omar Rav Yechanan. Says Rabba Bar Chana, the name Rav Yechanan, we're kemat smack in the middle of the Amid. First word on line is Rabba. Omru Alachik Rav Shimon. They said that we paskin like Rav Shimon. So in front of Rav Yechanan, they said, it sounds like we're going with Rav Shimon, Leslie Muksa. Asks the Gemara, really? Omi Amar Rav Yechanan Achi. Does Rav Yechanan concur? V'ham. An elderly Korean, some say it was a Syrian, different places, sat in front of Rav Yechanan. Are you allowed to move a chicken coop? Of course not. It was only made for Tarnigailim. So clearly, Rav Yechanan is not going with Rav Shimon Leslie Muksa. Clearly, he's going with functionality on Shabbos. He's going with Rav Yehuda. Answers the Gemara. No, there's a dead chicken in there. That's the reason. Asks the Gemara. 1 second. Ha nichlamar bar meimar. So if you hold that Rav Shimon is maskim that dead animals are muksa, then everything is good. Because then you can say that Ein Achanami, yes, Rav Yechanan goes to Rav Shimon, but in this case it's a dead chicken. Elamar b'd Rav Yosef mishmei the Rav Adamar chaligay Rav Shimon afilu bali chaim shemeisu shein mutarim. But according to Rav Shimon that argues, but according to the opinion that says Rav Shimon argued with Rav Yehuda, even if the animals die, that they're not muksa, Michael and Meimar. How are you going to explain Rav Yechanan? Says the Gemara, there's an egg in there. Of course, a newly laid egg on Shabbos is muksa. That's the reason why the chicken coop was muksa. Ask the Gemara further, about 20 lines from the Y lines. The first word in line is beya. The two go hand in hand. So Rav Shimon, no muksa, no lolan. Rav Yehuda, yes muksa, yes nylon. So how are you answering me the kasha by saying that there is a chicken, an egg inside? Answers the Gemara, this is a pizza set frayach. There's an unhatched egg containing a chick. That egg, everyone agrees, both Rav Yehuda and Rav Shimon, yes nylon, yes muksa, no lolan, no muksa, everyone will agree is going to be muksa. And basically what we're proving is this brisa about this chicken coop can't be utilized as a kasha right, or anything, because everyone will agree in an unhatched chicken that it is muksa. Continues the Gemara, ki asa Rav Yitzchak b'Rav Yosef. Says the Gemara, when Rav Yitzchak b'Rav Yosef came from Eretz Yisrael, Rav Yechanan alachik Rav Yehuda. He said, you know what Rav Yechanan holds? Like Rav Yehuda. Rav Shimon Levi Amar, alachik Rav Shimon. Amar Rav Yosef, this is what they said. Amar alachik Rav Shimon. Amru, they said, meaning they told over in front of Rav Yechanan, not that he yelled like Rav Shimon. Amru, they said alach like Rav Shimon. Amru bat v'lei loy svirulei. Amru le abayler Rav Yosef. Really? V'alo tizbra Rav Yechanan like Rav Yehuda. You didn't know The Rav Yechon will take Rav Yudah, Rav Abba, Rav Asi. Rav Abba, Rav Asi. Echlad Bei Rav Abba de Min Chayfa. V'nafel Minarta al Glima de Rav Asi. And a menorah, a candelabra, fell on the jacket of Rav Asi. V'loy tel telad. He didn't move it because he considered it muksa. My time will Mishum de Rav Asi. Tell me the Rav Yechon Havi. Rav Yechon like Rav Yehuda. So you're like this, like muksa. So ask the Gemara, what was the Havamina? It must be that it was an Amri. It must be that Rav Yechon was like Rav Yehuda. What was the Havamina that he had like Rav Shimon? Amar le, Rav Yisrael responds, Minarta kamret, what's your kasha? Minarta shiny. Why? The Amar, Rav Achav Rechanina, Amar Rav Asi, Reish Lakish, Sidain, Reish Lakish, Paskin, Minera, and he tells me, Ada Achaz Mutalatal Tzla, Minera. That can move with one hand, you can move in Shabbos. B'shtei Yadav, Asla Taltzla. Minera that needs two hands to move, you cannot move. Rav Yechon Amar, Anu Ein Lanu Elaminer, Kirav Shimon. We have no heter for moving any form of lighting item except for a ner, according to Rav Shimon. Avul Minoira, Beinitzla Biyadei Achaz Beinilu Shtei Yadav, says Rav Yochanan particularly, Aser Litaltla, meaning Reish Lakish Rav Yochanan arguing, what's the story with a small menorah? However, a large menorah, they're all agreeing that it's muksa, even according to Rav Shimon. So here we have our second exception, that even though Rav Shimon, Leslie Muksa, number one was Gregor's and Tzimukim, number two is going to be this case of the menorah. Even Rav Shimon will be maskim, a shteyad of a large menorah is going to be muksa at time of Mai. Says the Gemara, a new yisoid, and this is how the whole muksa is going to work, is that we, in the broad sense, hold like Rav Shimon Leslie Muksa, but we're going to slowly narrow it down, adding on more cases that will be Islay Muksa. This being another one that if you're Kaveh Eloi Makayim, we're going to call this one of the classifications. There we go. For Muksa Machlas Chesara in Kes, if you give it its designated place. But that's the reason why it's going to be Muksa. We'll pick it up from here. B'siyata Dishmaya.